Good morning, Chicago. Welcome. What is up, Bears fans? We are here Sunday morning. We are here on the Bears Review. Not the Bears Review, the Bears Huddle podcast, even, guys. Talking all things Chicago Bears after the 2025 NFL draft is done. It's dusted. It's in the books. The book is now closed, and we are good to go. It's all OTAs, it's all training camp, it's all focused now on full speed ahead to the 2025 NFL season. We've got to get through those dog days of summer when nothing happens and we all sit in that corner of our rooms going like this: please let it start, please let it start, please bring it back, please bring it back. And our families think that we've lost the plot, and our wives, girlfriends, partners, husbands, whatever you want, all sit there going, oh my god, the bear fever's starting again. The bear fever is here. Look, it's done. I mean, let's face it, the draft it's a difficult process. We all know that. I mean, a lot of it is best guess. A lot of it is kind of trying to trusting your scouts, trusting your analytics, trusting your data-driven stuff. I mean, it was interesting to hear Ryan Poles talk after the draft and talk about how the fact that we have the very latest technology on this, and we've got all this technology as well now. Looking into it, apparently we're one of the top franchises for technology. Well, let's hope that technology can start to turn out a winning team on the park. I mean, I've got to say, if I'm going to grade this draft, it's a good draft. It's a good draft. It's not a very good draft. It's not an outstanding draft. It's a good draft. I think there's one or two players we missed out on. I think there's one or two positions that could have done with a further bit of strengthening. There's a very interesting running back question. I really do think we will look at that at some point on a video. I will briefly mention it on the video this morning. I'd be interested to get your take on the running back position with the Bears. But overall, you've got to say this is a good draft. It's a good draft. I mean, there's one or two picks that I'm a bit, really, genuinely think that's a bit overdrafted. I think there's a couple of players in there that are overdrafted slightly that are kind of a bit questionable. But, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I think there's some very good players. I mean, there's some very, very good players. And I've got to say, look, Colston Loveland, 10. Love Colston Loveland. I think he's going to be a top linebacker. Sorry, guys. Early morning. A top tight end. I don't know what is wrong with me. I've got linebackers on the brain. Maybe because I'm not overly happy with the linebacker pick. We'll get to that. But I've got very excited with Ruben, with Luther Burden. I think he is a very, very good pick. I think he's a top pick. As a wide receiver, I think he is a class act. I think he's going to be an absolute difference maker. And I think, you look at that wide receiver room now and you just cannot fail to be impressed by it. And look, I'm not a massive fan of his. I'm going to put that out there now. But Colin Cowherd, right, was speaking on his pod and he said that basically he look at this, you look at this you look at this Bears roster now, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and it is absolutely stacked. It is stacked beyond belief. You've obviously got Caleb Williams. Hopefully, this season he comes through and he delivers. You've got Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Luther Burden, Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, Dondre Swift. You've got an O-line that's been rebuilt. You've got an offensively minded head coach. You've got a passing game coordinator. You've got an offensive coordinator who's good at what he does. You've got a good coaching staff there, and you've got also now a mentor for Caleb Williams in Case Keenum. This is the time that we could make a huge difference this season, especially as we know the Detroit Lions have that absolutely hideously bad schedule. They've got some horrific teams in that schedule. So I'm not saying they're going to go from what best to last. I'm not saying that's going to happen for a moment, but I do believe that we have the players to make a massive difference. I mean, let's have a little look. That one of the players that I don't genuinely get in terms of this draft is the linebacker. I don't get the linebacker. I mean, Ruben Hippolyte is he called? I think that's how you say his name. I genuinely don't understand that pick. I mean, I heard Ryan Poles talk about him. He talked very much about the fact that, that he is a very fast, lightning quick linebacker, quick, speedy, and that's one of the things obviously that Dennis Allen likes in his. Likes in his defense, and I kind of get that understanding. And I know that he's not going to be a starter. I get that. I get that he's going to be a guy that comes through. But I think it's a bit of a waste of a pick. I mean, honestly do. I mean, you look at this, he ran a 4.454, so he quite clearly is a quick guy. But, you look at where he was slated to go. He was draft projection was as an undrafted free agent. That's where he was draft projected as a UDFA. So, he wasn't projected to be picked up by any single team. Well, yeah, I know there's always a risk there that if you leave it to that and then he is picked up by someone, you then kick yourself that you didn't pick him up. But I honestly kind of look at this and kind of think, is that the best use of that pick? Could we have not got someone else who would have added a little bit more to this roster? I mean, fourth round, really, for a guy who's going to be a UDFA? I genuinely don't get it. I don't. His stats coming out of college are not massively impressive. Yes, he had a fairly decent last season at Maryland, but I just think of spending a fourth rounder on a guy who is slated to be a UDFA. I genuinely don't get. I don't understand it. I mean, look, I'm not Ryan Poles. I'm not an expert scout. I'm a fan watching from the UK, but it to me seems a bit of a waste of a pick. And maybe this guy comes good and proves me wrong, and I hope he does. I hope he does come good. I hope he does prove me wrong. But just looking at his measurables, looking at his stats, looking at him as a player, I just don't see it. I genuinely don't see it. And I think, when we could have added a running back there, a proper running back, there were still running backs available at that point in the draft. Someone who could have come in and actually, started and could have made a difference, better than DeAndre Swift, better than Roschon Johnson. I just think that was a waste of a pick, to be honest with you. I think it was a massive waste of a pick, and I'm not massively enthused by it at all. I've got to say, when I heard about the pick, I was like, who? I had to Google his name, I had to Google him, and then when I found out a little bit more about him, I was a bit like, well, that's a bit of a damp squib, isn't it? It's like, opening your birthday present and finding that it's a massive box and thinking, wow, I've got something cool, and then opening it again and finding you've got like a bottle opener or something. It's just not great, is it? I mean, it just isn't. I mean, like his measurables, his ratings: tackling 65%, pass rush 67%, run defense 66%, coverage 62%. Like I said, I don't rate this guy at all. I just think that that pick was wasted by Ryan Poles. I think it was a waste of a pick, and I think this guy is going to be a bust. I mean, he may not even make the roster, which I think will be a sad indictment of a fourth round pick. But look, I mean, you look at the other guys that have come, the other guys that we got yesterday in the draft. I think there is some very good talent there. Like I said, Ruben Hippolyte is the one I just think is just a waste of a draft pick. Zaf Frazier is someone who definitely excites me. I like him. I think he's not a starter. He's definitely a developmental piece. And there's no need for him to start yet. We've got Jalen Johnson, we've got Tyreek Stevenson. Obviously, there is no need to start the guy yet. Kyler Gordon as well. Obviously, the Dennis Allen's talked about perhaps using Kyler Gordon as an outside corner at times. So we've got a lot of talent in that cornerback room already. So this is a developmental guy, but he's going to come in. He's going to obviously learn from Dennis Allen and the position coaches. He's going to learn from Jalen Johnson. He's going to learn from Kyler Gordon, from Tyreek Stevenson. Hopefully the good bits, not the knuckleheaded bits that Tyreek Stevenson does. He's a good investment. He's a good investment. Height, speed, perspective. He's got all those key things. He's worked his way up as well. He knows how to work hard to get where he wants to be. These things have not come easy for Frazier, and there's no C in his name, guys. Remember that, Z-A-H, Zach Frazier. He's, I think, a player who I think will come in. I mean, he could even go to the practice squad and then come off the practice squad as we need him. He's definitely someone who is one for the future. So I do think that is a decent investment of a draft pick. Luke Newman, the offensive lineman from Michigan State. He was a left tackle at Holy Cross. Newman he was shifted inside to guard. He's also played center. I think your cover, kind of your supply lineman, the guy that comes in and fills in multiple different positions when you need to spell someone out or when someone's injured. I think he can he's not a power guy. He's not going to start a tackle. I don't think he's going to be a starting left tackle in the NFL or a starting right tackle in the NFL. He hasn't got the power to kind of get there. So I do think he's someone who's going to come in and perhaps find a home at guard or even maybe move as a backup center. This is a kind of a depth piece that we're adding here to a very talented offensive line. And remember, we did take Ozzy Trapilo again in round 2, who again is another pick I'm not massively impressed with. I think it's a decent pick. I don't think it's a great pick, if I'm being honest with you on reflection. The one that really kind of intrigues me massively is Kyle Monagai. He's a dependable runner. He's a pass protector. He's never ever had a fumble in college, which is always a good stat. Someone who protects the ball. His speed is a little subpar, though. That's one thing that slightly does go against him. He does, however, run very hard indeed. He's a decent enough player. He's a 7th round pick. He can. Well, I mean, what was it? Ryan Pohl said he'll come in and compete. He may make the roster. He may not make the roster. But overall, I've got to say, impressed with Luther Burden, impressed with Colston Loveland. I like those picks. I really do. So, I like the Loveland pick. I like the Burden pick. I like the Shamar Turner pick. I think he's going to be a good player. I like the Zach Frazier pick. I think Luke Newman's a solid pick. Kyle Monagai is a solid pick. Of all the picks, I like the linebacker pick the least. Hippolyte, I think, is a waste of a pick. And the Trapilo pick, I don't really like the Trapilo pick either. I don't think he is going to be, on reflection, going after yesterday's video and looking at the guy, I don't like him. I just don't think he's going to be the answer. He won't start. I mean, I've seen some Bears fans projecting him to start at right tackle and to shift Darnell Wright to left tackle at start. I just can't see that happening. I don't think he's got it yet, if ever. So, yeah, they're the picks that don't really impress me at all, Trapilo and Hippolyte. But look, I mean, overall, like I say, it's a solid pick. It's a B. And I think, look, we've got to have faith in Coach Johnson that he can get the best out of this roster. Now, Coach Johnson did come out with some... the really interesting quote yesterday, as regards competition. And he spoke about the fact that at this moment in time, there is no depth chart. He spoke very much about the fact that there's no depth chart. If you want a space on the team, if you want a space on that depth chart, if you want a space on this roster, you've got to come in and you've got to earn it. That's what he said. That's very much where he was going with this, and he's right. That is the key thing, isn't it? You do need to come in and earn it, and we need competition for places. We do need players to come in and actually know that their spots are under threat. Iron sharpens iron. Two dogs, one bone. The strongest dog gets the bone, doesn't it? You need those levels of competition. If you've got a player who is very much kind of easy in his position, who knows that position is his no matter what, they can at times, and with the best will in the world, we all do it at work at times. You can kind of go and get sit into a bit of a comfort zone. You can kind of think, well, look, it's my position. At the end of the day, there's no one else who's going to come in and challenge me. I'll get by. I'm not feeling it today. I'll just do what I can. But if you know that there's someone behind you who is chomping at the bit, who wants your place, wants your place on the lineup, you're going to pull it out. You're going to absolutely go for it, because you could lose your place. And I think as he said, there is a competition level there now. There is an intensity there now. So, I think that is spot on. I think it is really, really good. And I think, that will bring a raise in standards. That will bring a raise in levels. And it's something we need on the organisation. It's something we've always needed to have, that competition for places, that depth, talent. And also, this is a young roster now. This roster has, obviously rapidly de-aged, if that's a word. And we're at a position now where we are in a position to kind of build for the future and build a long-term strategy and a long-term winning strategy here in Chicago. And I think we have got the players now to do that. I'm the head coach as well. It's certainly good to wake up on this Sunday, the 27th of April, with a more optimistic outlook on the NFL, and a more opportunistic, a more optimistic look out on the Bears too. Guys, I'd love to get your thoughts on this draft. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching the Bears Huddle podcast. On your way out, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's bear down. See you later, Chicago.